Ella.
The walk back to the office is a weighted journey, each step heavier than the last. The information that Esteban gave me has caused my mind to start whirling. Vasily's thirst for power knows no bounds, and it's disconcerting how easily he's manipulated Diego. I reach Roman's office door, taking a deep breath before walking in. Roman and Caden are deep in deliberation. Their brows are furrowed and the atmosphere is thick with tension. Papers are strewn across Roman's desk, maps and charts outlining the territories of various pacts and cartels. "We can't just march in there, Ro," Caden is saying, pointing at a section on the map that marks the Ladrón cartel's land. "It's suicide. They outnumber us." "I'm aware, but sitting on our hands isn't an option either," Roman retorts, raking a hand through his hair, his rings glinting under the light. "If we don't act, Vasily plays his hand, and we become sitting ducks." Caden sighs and leans against the wall. "We need a mole, someone on the inside. But even then, information could be slow, and by then, it might be too late," Roman finishes for him. Their eyes meet. A pause stretches between them, heavy and uncomfortable. Roman's phone buzzes on the desk, a message flashing on the screen. It's probably from one of the perimeter scouts, no sign of any intruders. A false relief by the way he throws it back down. "We could attempt a parley," Caden finally says, breaking the silence. "Appeal to Javier's rational side, if he has one." Roman frowns. "That's risky. What if he's in deep with Vasily? I could be walking into a death trap." "And what if he's not?" Caden pushes. "Look, you know as well as I do that Javier values his cartel, his empire. If he thinks his son is being manipulated and it threatens what he's built, he'll listen. For the sake of his legacy, if not his flesh and blood." Roman considers this, his eyes clouded in thought. "It would give us an opportunity to judge him, see where he stands. And if he does value his empire, he won't want to go to war without reason. Wars are expensive and disruptive." "Exactly," Caden agrees. Caden looks up from his seat as I walk in, his eyes inquiring. Roman, behind his desk, immediately stands when he sees me. "Well, you wanted the microphones removed from the room. What did he say?" I confirm their worst fears about Vasily and add a layer of urgency to the decisions to be made. It's the push Roman needs. "He talked," I say, my voice barely above a whisper. "Vasily has worked his way into the Ladrón cartel, brainwashing Diego. They plan to come after us." It lines up with what Vasily said, while he kept me captive. He's hoping Roman would snap and turn into something other than the alpha he is now. Who would want to run beside an alpha who kills without remorse? "The fucker wants to break me, he has another thing coming," Roman says, scoffing. What he doesn't realize is this just fuels my fucking hatred for him, and confirms why I was chosen as alpha and not him. I shake my head. "Not just break you, Roman, he wants to tarnish your reputation as alpha and is expecting you to snap because of what he did to me." "Oh, trust me, I will snap. But only when I have my hands around that fucker's neck." Roman's eyes narrow, his hands clenched into fists on the desk. "I'll contact Alpha Javier. If he's a man of reason, he'll want to hear this. We need to bring undeniable evidence, something Javier can't refute." "And if that doesn't work?" Caden asks. Roman looks at him squarely, his eyes resolute. "Then we prepare for war." The atmosphere is thick, only disrupted by the sporadic sound of fingers nervously tapping on the wooden desk and the restless rustling of papers. "Are you sure we should contact Javier directly?" Caden finally interrupts the silence, locking eyes with Roman. "Vasily has obviously infiltrated the cartel. What if Javier is compromised as well?" Roman weighs the question, staring at the silver paperweight on his desk, a wolf caught in mid-prowl. "If Javier is compromised, we're up against the wall anyway," Roman says, crossing his arms over his chest and leaning back in the chair. "But I've known him for a long time. He's ruthless, but not foolish. He won't gamble his entire cartel on the word of a stranger. But reaching out to him exposes us," Caden insists, shifting in his chair. "We're essentially telling him we're aware of what's happening within his ranks." Roman lifts his eyes, his gaze intense. That also tells him we have our resources that could be of use to him. He needs to recognize the enemy he's unknowingly harboring. Caden leans back, exhaling deeply. All right. But could we offer something to make the meeting worthwhile for him? Like shared intel about Vasily or potential trade alliances? Roman nods slowly. I could be open to that. Anything that makes a face-to-face meeting more appealing. It's a risk, Caden adds. But then again, so is doing nothing. Doing nothing is a guarantee for disaster, Roman asserts, his voice tinged with resolve. We've avoided this threat for long enough. It's time to confront it directly. For a brief moment, both men lock eyes, acutely aware of the heavy responsibility that rests upon their shoulders. The stakes are high, and the impact of their next move could either fortify or destabilize their pack. Then Roman picks up his phone, making eye contact with me as he dials. I hope your faith in me isn't misplaced, he mutters, more to himself than anyone else, but still loud enough for Caden to hear. Caden simply shakes his head. If I lacked faith in you, I wouldn't be sitting here. He moves swiftly, dialing a number into the encrypted phone that's only used for the most sensitive conversations. My eyes catch Caden's, and he gives me a nod as if to say well done. The weight of this particular conversation settles over the room like a shroud, impossible to shake off. It's a crossroads for all of us, a moment where choices will ripple into consequences we can't yet see. Alphanovel, it's Roman Nikolaev, he starts, his voice laced with a gravity that commands attention. I have information concerning your son that you need to hear. Can we arrange a meeting? A pause. Roman's eyes meet mine with a frown, and they soften just a touch. Good. See you then. He hangs up after listening to Alphanovel for a few minutes, and lets out a deep breath. He agreed to meet. Relief washes over me. That's good, right? This is more than good. Javier never wanted to meet with me before. Not to settle disputes or stop the simmering war between our packs. He says he has some news for us as well, he says, then he nods at Caden. Set it up with the warriors, we leave tomorrow. On it, Caden says. My heart is pounding as Caden gives me an appreciative nod before exiting Roman's office, the door clicking shut behind him. I'm left alone with Roman, and the room suddenly feels too small, the atmosphere dense with unspoken emotions and the gravity of the decisions just made. Roman steps toward me, his face softer now. You did well, Ella, he murmurs, pulling me into his arms. His scent envelopes me, a mix of pine, forest floor, and that distinct aroma that is uniquely Roman. For a moment, I allow myself to sink into him, appreciating the sturdy feel of his embrace. I look up and our eyes meet. There's love there, a depth of emotion that sometimes still takes my breath away. He leans down, his lips approaching mine, and then something inside me freezes. An icy thread weaves its way through my chest, and without thinking, I jerk back. A sudden flash of memory, Vasily's face, his twisted smile, the terror I felt under his touch, surges through me like a jolt of electricity. My body goes rigid, my skin turning to ice. The look in Roman's eyes is like a shattered mirror, broken, reflective of 100 different feelings all jumbled together. Roman halts, his eyes searching my face, and what I see there shatters me, a look of dawning realization, followed by a hurt so profound it's as if I've struck him. The air between us thickens, laden with 100 questions neither of us wants to ask. I'm sorry. I whisper, my voice barely audible. The words hang in the air, filling the room with their inadequacy. Before he can say anything, I disentangle myself from his arms, my own shaking as I turn the doorknob and step out of his office. I hear Roman call after me, but my feet won't stop. What have I done? What was that? Why did I pull away? I race down the hallways, my vision a blurry canvas of grays and browns, my thoughts a jumbled mess. I should feel ecstatic, we're making progress, we're one step closer to neutralizing the threat against our pack. But the only thing that lingers is the broken look in Roman's eyes. I reach our room and close the door behind me, leaning against it as if I can barricade myself from my own emotions, my heart a fractured mess. A wave of guilt crashes over me, filling every nook and cranny of my heart. I sink to the floor, my knees pull up to my chest, and let my head fall into my hands. Why did I freeze? And how do I fix the crack I've just created in the foundation of our relationship? Roman is not Vasily, and he's kissed me before this, so why? What the hell is wrong with me? I close my eyes, wrestling with my confusing emotions. We're on the brink of war, facing enemies on all fronts, but right now, the most formidable battle is the one raging within me. A torrent of emotions rages inside me: guilt, love, fear, regret. It's as if all the unspoken things between Roman and me have materialized into a wall, a barrier that I don't know how to climb, to break. I've wounded him, I know I have. And the worst part is, I've wounded myself in the process. Pushing myself off the door, I start walking. Where? I don't know. I just need to move, to put distance between Roman and me, as if the space could somehow dilute the complexity of what I'm feeling. But even as I walk away, I know I'm also walking away from a part of myself, a part of us, that may never be the same again. And for the first time in a long time, despite being part of a pack, despite Roman's love and all the progress we've made, I feel utterly, devastatingly alone.
Roman.
The door clicks shut behind Ella, and I'm left standing in the suffocating silence of my office. What the hell just happened? I ask myself this question, but deep down, I know. I saw it, the flash of terror in her eyes, the way she tensed up. How could I be so fucking stupid? She saw Vasily when she looked at me. My fist collides with the wall, a sharp pain radiating up my arm. But it's a good pain, a welcome distraction from the emotional shitstorm swirling inside me. Damn it. I curse under my breath. I should have known better. I've been an alpha since I was a pup, raised to read people, to read her. And still, I forget. I forget what she's been through, the invisible scars Vasily left on her. I flex my hand, testing the knuckles. They're fine. I'm fine. Except I'm not. None of this is fine. I stand there, my fist aching from the punch, the dent in the wall a testament to my screw-up. Damn it all! I mutter, pacing the room. This was supposed to be simple. All my years of training, of conditioning, and I blow it on a reflex? On muscle memory? Is that all it takes to unravel me? I grip the edge of my desk, my knuckles whitening. Focus, Roman, focus. I chastise myself. She's not just another member of the pack, not just another responsibility. She's Ella. She's everything. She saw through the bullshit facade of the perfect alpha long before anyone else did. Saw me. But what good is it if I can't see her, really see her, when she needs me to? The room suddenly feels like it's closing in on me. My jaw clenches, teeth grinding against each other. Every instinct screams at me to go after her, to make things right, but another part, a quieter part that I often ignore, tells me to pause. Think, Roman. Think, you fucking idiot. I chastise myself. How many times have I let my emotions, my instincts, rule over logic and caution? My gaze drifts to the wall where I've just punched a hole. Great, another thing to fix. As if there aren't enough already. I rub my temples, feeling a headache begin to throb at the base of my skull. I've been trained to handle complex negotiations, rogue wolves, territorial disputes, but nothing has ever felt as complicated as this. I know what I want to say to her, what I should say, but the words don't come easy. Emotions are a territory I've been trained to navigate in others, but I'm lost when it comes to myself. I was raised to be unerring, the person everyone else looks to for guidance. Now, I need guidance, and the only person I can think of is the woman who just ran away from me. Get it together, I mutter, grabbing my jacket from the back of my chair. My mind is a chaotic mess of thoughts, but among them, one is clear: I need to find Ella, and I need to make things right. I'm wrestling with myself, torn between the alpha who has to maintain control and the man who just wants to make things right with the woman he cares about. What if she can't get past this? What if this moment, this one stupid, thoughtless moment, becomes the wedge that drives us apart? My eyes fall on the framed photograph on my desk. Ella and me, smiling, her eyes full of life. I pick it up, tracing the contours of her face with my thumb. That's the woman who brought me back to life, made me feel like more than just a title, an alpha. Enough. I've wallowed long enough. It's time to fix this. With newfound determination, I set the photo back down, take a deep, steadying breath, and step out of my office. I need to find her, I need to make this right. And as I navigate the familiar hallways, following her scent, I make myself a promise. No more stupid mistakes. No more taking her for granted. And maybe, just maybe, if I'm lucky, she'll find it in her to forgive this foolish alpha who forgot, even for a moment, just how incredibly strong and yet fragile the love of his life truly is. But despite the heaviness, despite the chaos inside me, I can't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Ella makes me want to be better, to be more than just an alpha, to be the man she sees when she looks at me. I follow her scent, mingling with the earthy aroma of the forest. My eyes catch sight of her, sitting alone on a bench that overlooks the lake. She's wrapped in thought, oblivious to my approach. For a moment, I pause, taking her in, etching this image of her into my memory. I don't want to ruin this peaceful scene, but I can't let the silence between us fester. And then she looks up, a hint of surprise crossing her face. You found me. Tracking's part of the alpha package, I say, lowering myself onto the bench next to her. The space between us feels like a chasm, a gaping hole I don't know how to bridge. I guess you're good at your job, then, she mutters. Yeah, well, I wish I were better at other things, I say, staring at the ground as if it holds the answers to the mess I've made. Taking a deep breath, I turn to face her. For a long moment, neither of us speaks. Then, swallowing my pride, I break the silence. Listen, Ella, I fucked up back there. I wasn't thinking. I know you're not ready for that. Might not be for a long time, and that's okay. I wasn't thinking either. She admits, her eyes downcast, then she looks at me, her eyes searching my face, and I can see the guilt written there. I should have. Hey, don't. I interrupt, my words coming out more forcefully than I intend. I take a deep breath, reining in my temper. You have nothing to feel guilty about, okay? If anyone's the idiot here, it's me. You're worth the wait, Ella, worth the fight. Don't ever think you're not. I feel awful, she says, her voice soft but heavy with regret. I didn't mean to hurt you. No, stop. I interrupt, locking eyes with her. You don't get to apologize for having a reaction to something that isn't your fault. I should have remembered, should have been more aware. She sighs, visibly wrestling with something inside her. You couldn't have known how I'd react, Roman. Maybe. But I should have. When you've been through what you've been through, the last thing you need is another asshole pushing your boundaries. Gods, it was just reflex, you know? When I'm holding you, everything else falls away and I just act on muscle memory. She shakes her head, still looking guilty as hell, and I hate it. You shouldn't feel like you have to walk on eggshells around me. And you shouldn't feel like you have to be okay with things you're not, I fire back. If we're keeping score, I'm the bigger idiot here. You're the one person who's ever seen me, really seen me, not as some infallible alpha, but as a flawed human being. And still, I keep messing it up. She takes a deep breath, as if gathering the courage to speak. Do you regret it? Being with me? Regret it? I repeat, feeling like she just slapped me. How could you even ask that? You're worth every fight, every wait, every goddamn struggle. But if I ever make you feel like you're not, then I'm the one who's failed here, not you. She looks at me, her eyes searching for something. What she finds, I can't say, but she leans her head against my shoulder, her body tensing before she lets out a breath and relaxes. I wrap an arm around her, pulling her close. This time, there's no attempt to kiss her, no pushing beyond what we're both ready for. Just two people, trying to find their way through a fucked up world, together. Thank you, she whispers so softly I barely catch it. For what? I ask, genuinely puzzled. For being worth the fight, too, she says, and just like that, the chasm between us doesn't seem quite so wide anymore. She exhales, a shaky sigh that seems to carry the weight of the world. And then, slowly, she leans in closer, resting her head against my chest. And for now, this is enough. It has to be.
Ella.
2 days later, we find ourselves in a black Escalade, driving toward the restaurant where the meeting is to take place. Roman's knuckles are white on the steering wheel, and Caden has an air of alertness that borders on tension. Roman decided to meet Alpha Javier in his own territory as a sign of respect. Both Caden and I hate this, but Roman was adamant it had to be done. The car is filled with the smell of Roman's cologne, a woodsy aroma that usually comforts me, but today it seems to amplify the gravity of the situation. "We'll be all right, Ella," he says. "Trust me." Caden, sitting shotgun, looks over his shoulder and nods in agreement. "We've faced worse, right? A sit-down with another alpha should be a cakewalk." "I wouldn't go that far," Roman murmurs, pulling the Escalade into the valet area. "What are the odds that Javier is setting us up?" I can't help but ask, breaking the silence that has enveloped the vehicle. "Low, but not non-existent," Roman answers, eyes still fixed on the road. "But if he wanted to eliminate us, he could have done it a long time ago. A trap now would mean a declaration of war, and I don't think he wants that any more than we do." Caden adds, "Javier has always been about the bigger picture. He knows alliances can be more profitable than conflicts. There's a reason his cartel is as influential as it is." "But there's something else bothering you, Roman," I observe. He's always been an open book to me, his emotions practically written on his face. He sighs. "It's not just about today. It's what comes after. I can handle myself, but I'm worried about you and the pack." "I can handle myself too," I reassure him. "I trust you, Roman. And so does the pack." Roman's eyes find mine through the rearview mirror. A semblance of a smile touches his lips, an ephemeral moment of tenderness that's quickly replaced by a steely resolve. We exit, and Roman passes the keys to the attendant without taking his eyes off the restaurant's front facade. The place deserted except for us, a heavy implication that adds a tinge of gravity to the meeting. Javier had the entire restaurant cleared for this meeting, a display of power and wealth, no doubt. A hostess leads us to the private dining room, where Alpha Javier and his Beta and Gamma are already seated. Javier stands to greet us, his golden hazel eyes calculating and flashing crimson for a split second. He is both charismatic and physically imposing, dressed impeccably in a white button-down shirt and black slacks. His hair, curly but rugged, gives him a roguish air. Wow, the man is handsome as hell and smells like sex on two legs. "Alpha Roman," he says smoothly, extending a hand. "It's a pleasure to finally meet face to face." "Likewise," Roman replies, gripping Javier's hand firmly. The tension is palpable, the unspoken gauging of wills evident even in their handshake. Javier's eyes then fall on me, a flicker of curiosity in his gaze. "And you must be Ella," he says, releasing Roman's hand. Roman sees the look on my face and says over the mind link, "If you're thinking of swooning, remember who you're going home with." The words are possessive but protective, and my nervousness turns into a small swell of affection for Roman. "Jealous much?" I chuckle softly, focusing back on Javier as we take our seats. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Alpha." The low growl Roman releases tells me he doesn't like me calling Javier that. Javier raises an eyebrow, seemingly intrigued by what's going on with Roman. "Please, sit," he says, gesturing to the chairs opposite him. As we settle in, the waitstaff discreetly serve wine and water. Javier lifts his glass. "To new beginnings," he proposes. Roman raises his own glass, but doesn't sip. "Before we toast, perhaps we should get down to why we're all here." Javier sets his glass down, eyes sharpening. "Straight to business, then." "Very well. But let me begin by saying that I never gave permission for my son to watch your Luna, nor was I aware that my own flesh and blood, Esteban, was being blackmailed." "Your flesh and blood?" Roman asks, quirking an eyebrow, and Javier nods. "He's my nephew, but no one really knows that since he's the son of one of my father's many mistresses. Esteban prefers it. The only family I have left, besides my son and twin sister," he says. Roman nods solemnly. "I suspected as much, which is why we're here. Vasily has been a thorn in my side as well." Javier leans back, steepling his fingers, suddenly intense. Ah yes, Vasily. He was never close to me, but rather to Diego. Did you know Ayala's father was in contact with us? He had arranged for Diego to marry Ayala. However, I put that aside when I heard of your involvement. He's now made Ayala's father his worker, as I have found out, and gave Diego his beta's daughter as a partner. The news hits me like a brick wall, and I'm momentarily speechless. Lily is my friend. The idea of her being manipulated this way is horrifying. Roman's expression is unreadable, but his eyes flash with a dangerous fire. That is unfortunate. So, where does that leave us? Caden interjects, breaking the tense silence. Javier looks from Roman to Caden. A proposition, then. The solution seems to be one of alliance. I propose a merging of our two packs, cemented by a marriage. But I want you to know, Roman, I've also been in talks with other alphas. The one who offers the best for my pack will get my alliance. Caden leans forward, elbows on the table, locking eyes with Javier. You mentioned a sister. If she's willing, I offer myself in marriage to her. A union between us could serve as the foundation for a solid alliance between our two packs. What do you say? A startled hush falls over the room. Roman's eyes widen, his gaze darting between Caden and Javier. It's a look of utter shock, as if Caden had just pulled the rug out from under him. Caden, Roman finally utters, his voice tinged with disbelief. Are you sure about this? Caden turns to Roman, holding his gaze. Yes, I'm sure. Our packs need unity, now more than ever. This is bigger than us, Roman, bigger than any personal reservations we might have. And let's be honest, traditional alliances haven't exactly worked in our favor recently. Roman studies Caden for a moment, his eyes searching. The tension is thick enough to slice through. I see Roman grappling with the weight of Caden's decision, disbelief, surprise, but also a dawning recognition that Caden's proposition makes strategic sense. You'd be tying yourself to another pack, another family. Roman finally says, as if testing the solidity of Caden's resolve. It's not a small thing, what you're proposing. I know. Caden replies solemnly. But we need powerful friends, and we can't waste time playing it safe. Alpha Javier, what are your thoughts? Javier, who has been observing the exchange with rapt attention, smiles faintly. Well, I never thought I'd see the day where a beta offers himself up for marriage, without consulting his alpha. I must say, it's refreshing to see a willingness to break from tradition for the sake of pragmatism. He pauses, seeming to weigh his next words carefully. My sister is named Elena, and I believe she would not be opposed to this alliance. Of course, her consent is paramount, but speaking as the alpha of my pack, I'm intrigued by your offer. Caden nods. And rightly so. Consent is the cornerstone of any union. If Elena is willing, then I'm committed to this, fully. Roman exhales slowly. In that case, I can't argue with the logic or the intent behind it. Javier clasps his hands together. Excellent. I'll speak with Elena tonight. If all goes well, I suggest we arrange a meeting between her and Caden soon. The sooner we solidify this alliance, the sooner we can turn our attention to the other pressing matters at hand. Agreed. Roman says, raising his glass once more. To strategic marriages and robust alliances. To new beginnings, Caden adds, his voice firm, his eyes never leaving Roman's as they clink glasses. As the meeting wraps up and we all rise to leave, I can't help but marvel at the complexity of pack politics and how swiftly fortunes can change. Caden's decision might have been unexpected, but it was a bold move that showed a willingness to take risks for the good of all. Although by the look in Roman's eye, I can tell he's not too excited about it.